Welcome to another edition of the Shake the Dust podcast. Today, I have a beautiful young lady who is the owner of a gym in the Midwest, downtown Des Moines, Black Collar Fitness. She's turned this business into a successful gym with amazing members. And my son was actually a member of the gym where she provided some personal training to Luke. My son Luke has got special needs. And really came alongside him and helped him a lot. And because of that is the reason why I want to have her on the podcast. She left a big difference in my life and my son's life. She's involved in a couple nonprofits that she's going to talk about. She's also a mom, she's a wife, she's a dog owner, which we decided is the easiest, being a dog owner. We talk about following her CrossFit and her fitness passions. We talk about how she helped my son Luke through fitness, and also how not only did she help him, but he helped her and those in her gym. We talk about the one word that she uses to describe herself. We also talk about doing what you love and using that as a turning point to pursue your passion. And then also she provides some advice for those who want to follow their dreams, their passion, and their goals. I'm excited to have on our podcast today, Meddy Paulus. Well, hey, Meddy. Welcome to the Shake the Dust podcast. So glad you could join us.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm super excited and pumped about this opportunity.
Yeah, so was I. This is one of the ones I was super stoked to have. I want to share, I'll do a little quick intro first about you, but can you share a quick backstory, just what you're up to, just a couple minutes or a minute or two?
Yeah, so I will do it in the briefest way possible, kind of like a 2-minute drill. So I am originally from Des Moines, Iowa, currently still living and located here. I am a small business owner. So I co-own Black Collar CrossFit, which is my CrossFit gym. I have done all kinds of really crazy things. I'm kind of like the jack of all trades. I've done a lot of different exploring in trying to find my purpose, so to speak, trying to find what I truly loved. And CrossFit and fitness ended up being that really particular passion for me. It was a way to connect with people, which I didn't realize how much that's important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a way to kind of give back. And I'm currently, as well as being a small business owner, also helping and supporting a nonprofit organization, Grace Fitness, and also my grandmother's scholarship fund for the Mary Campus E-Scholarship, as well as Valor Fit, which is another nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
So some side work there.
I love it.
And I'm a mom and I'm a wife and dog owner.
Just that.
All that, yeah.
The easiest one being the dog owner.
The easiest one being the dog owner, absolutely.
No doubt. It's so good, Meddy. It's awesome. It's so fun to connect with you. I'm sure the audience was curious how we connected, and how I know you is from, let's see here, maybe 5 years ago, 6.
I think
About that. I'm
so.
so bad
Something
with
like
time.
that.
I think once people
I
start
know.
listening to my podcast, they're gonna realize, geez, that dude is clueless when it's coming.
There is no time frame. Yeah, I think it's probably safe to say probably about 5 years.
I think
for
about
sure.
5 years
Solid.
ago.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm sure by now people that are listening know about my son Luke, and that's actually how we
Yes.
connected, which was really fun.
Yes.
I don't even know how it came about, but somehow I found you, and you expressed an interest in helping my son Luke, who's got special needs, do some fitness through CrossFit. And you expressed an interest in wanting to start a program, and you basically asked me if you could help Luke, and I was incredibly impressed. And as soon as I met you, I knew it was going to be a really good thing for sure. Like, you instantly, Luke has this sixth sense, and he embraced you just so quickly and just didn't want to leave, and just would always try and hug you. Fitness.
Yes.
You'd make his day.
Oh yeah, he's one of my favorite humans. I love him so much. So I miss him.
I know.
But he sounds like he's doing great.
He is doing great. And through that is where I met you, through just like our common interest. There was Luke, and you would just go through the fitness and help him. And we're just really engaging with him. And you really left a mark on me through him, watching you interact with Luke. other people have helped Luke, right? I mean, they have, and a lot of, and some have left a mark on me, but just the way that it really comes back to the thing that really how you impacted me is the unselfishness of you. And what's really interesting, that started through Luke, but I've seen it with other people and how passionate you are about certain things. And I wrote it down because I just didn't want to mess it up. But what impacted me about you is your unselfishness, which actually leads, which I believe for you is a passion for a full life. I believe that's really important to you. And
Hmm.
what I also believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but a full life for you actually means helping others live a full life.
Yes. Yeah, that's fair to say. I love how you simplified that, because I would probably go into a very long story about about that. Um, I guess for me, it's, I use the word purpose, but the same thing of like the selflessness and showing and helping people, discover what it means to be a full life, and it's different for everybody.
Mhm.
I think in the world we live in today, a lot of times this idea of living a full life means like having a lot of money, having a lot of material things, and being wealthy. And it's really to different degrees. I really believe each individual and each person is different. I think my experience with Luke is that Luke was more of a teacher for me than, than I was to him. I mean, yes, he learned some really cool things. We taught him how to squat with control and how to, walk up and down stairs and, and pull himself up, which for a lot of us and a lot of people, and even gym members in my gym at the time, when Luke would come in, would be so just impressed with him. And I remember, when Luke would get done with like his sessions with me, and people would just be like, man, like that is such an incredible and awesome thing. And they'd cheer him on when
Mhm.
he would do his like little,
Mhm.
little workouts and stuff. But it also made them think and realize how fortunate they were to be able to do the things that we take for granted. The simplest things of being able to walk, of being able to sit down with control, picking things up. And that really changed a lot. Luke really influenced a lot of my gym members' mindsets. So, and he
Wh-
also impacted me in that way too.
Which is so interesting because Luke has no speech.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if a lot of your, listeners or viewers know that, but yeah. But here's the thing. I would argue too that Luke does speak, but he uses his body to speak. He uses his eyes to tell a story. And so speech, I think, is something that's very unique to individuals. He has his own language of communication. He communicates with you on a daily basis,
Sure.
and your family and stuff. And the same thing with me. What we had to do though was just like with any other language that we learn, we had to learn it. We had to take time. I had to take time to slow down and listen and observe.
Mhm.
And I don't think we do enough of that in this world.
Yeah.
So,
I would agree. It's really interesting as you say that, talking about listening. I think that's one thing you do really well is you meet people where they are, and some people, we all have our words, right? And we all understand that. So if we choose to listen, there, it's the language that we hear, and sometimes it's just noise to us. You know what I mean?
mhm.
And then we hear what we want to hear and then respond to it, whether it's negative or positive. If it's negative, we get defensive. If it's
Yep.
positive, we're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, it fills us with a sense of pride. But when you have someone like Luke, and
Mhm.
you can either kind of go two ways. The reason why I'm having you on the podcast is you went the way that you would hope most people go, which is why I believe you're a difference maker. Is because you do take the time. You do take the time to listen, and I think there's a lesson there for all of us. Is that sometimes people may not, they may be using words, but not in the way that
Mhm.
we understand. So we have to be better about listening and seeing
Mhm.
people for who they are.
Mhm.
So that's really really positive. I want to ask you, if you could choose one word to describe yourself, what would it be?
oh, can we swear on this one? I was
Yes,
like, yeah, I was
sure, why
like,
not?
shit. Um, man, one word to describe myself.
Yeah, don't think too hard.
You know what? I'm going to use this word because I just learned something. I learned something new about myself, which
Mm.
describes me to a T, but I would say oracle.
Okay, I was not
So
expecting that one.
yeah,
Can
yeah, that's
you
something.
gotta explain yourself a little bit
Okay,
there.
I will. Yeah, I will. I will elaborate on this. So I
Okay.
just recently, this is going to be a plug for another company, but I just recently fell into. You know me, I'm a big planner,
Yes.
and I know you like planners too. So the Evo planner
Hmm.
is, I don't know if you've heard of it or seen it, but it's a pretty cool planner. So I've been doing some research on how our brains operate, and everybody operates differently. Our brains think differently, all that science stuff. And I did this little quiz because I was like, I really need a planner. I was stuck in a spot where I was distracted, not really truly focused on things, and I needed to do something to get back into the groove. And so I took this quiz from the Evo Planner, and it says that I'm an oracle. And a lot of the characteristics of an oracle is that we have a tendency, and this will kind of tie into with Luke, we have a tendency, people who are oracles have a tendency to see the end in sight. Like we're able to kind of, instead of just visualizing what's right here in front of us, we can see the quote unquote light at the end of the tunnel. But we can also see how decisions can impact the world around us and others. And so that really, I very heavily related to that and didn't realize how much I was leaning into that, even in my profession. And even like with Luke, like I saw I saw the end result for Luke. Like I knew Luke was going to do the
Hmm.
particular things that we had him set up to do. Like, man, when he was dragging the sled, for example,
Yeah.
and excuse me, picking up medicine balls and tossing them over and going underneath, a
Hmm.
barbell, and like remembering, like remember when we would do the cone game and we would put cones in
Yes.
different
Yeah.
parts of the gym and he would go and get them and then bring
Hmm.
them back, and remembering to do that. Like I saw that, whereas I think maybe some people never really saw him have the capabilities to do that.
Yeah.
And so that's the word that I'm going to
I
own.
like it. I like it. That's good. I might have to check that out. Kind of sounds like a sea animal, but
Yeah, like, or a witch. I get called a witch a lot. Like
you
that's another word, not in a bad way,
no, yeah, there's
but
good
because
witches for
yeah,
sure.
like I've had recently, I've had a couple of friends, and even my
Yeah.
coach that works for me, she's like, you're really witchy. You just like know things and see
Okay.
things, and I'm just like, I just know my gut
I
tells me a
want that
lot.
good. I want that good witch on my side.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. I love it. I love it. It's funny because I use Luke a lot in my life for application for life lessons. And so I mean, he's absolutely a blessing, and I love it that he has impacted your life as well. I know he has. I mean, I saw it, and which was the main reason why I wanted to have you on here, not to talk about Luke, but how Luke affects us without being able to talk, right? But being able to
Yes.
use his words otherwise. But
Hmm.
um, no, that's good stuff. So let me shift gears a little bit, because I'm curious about this, and it may be you may be doing what you love, but if money was not an object for you, what would you be doing?
Oh man, if money was not an object for me, I would say most recently, I've really wanted to just travel. Like, I want to experience more of the world. Especially this past year,
Mhm.
with a lot of things that have been going on. We know about like the turmoil that we're experiencing in our country,
Mhm.
and even globally.
Mhm.
It has really hit home for me, to not only on a personal level, being a woman of color, but I've just realized like how many opportunities I didn't take to lean in and experience other cultures and other areas of life. Like I've always wanted to,
Mhm.
but that's been something that's been kind of like really deep in my heart right now, is like, man, if I had the money, I would And I tell this to, we talk about this, my husband and I, as with our son, that I'm not a big fan of giving him things. I would rather give him experiences. And
Yeah.
so I'm really working hard to be able to do more of that and
Hmm.
give him experiences. Like I
Yeah.
want him to see the world other than just in his little bubble.
Hmm.
So yeah.
It's true. Yeah, when we get to the end of our days, we'll be talking about the things that we did, not the things that we got for sure. And I think the sooner you can realize that and realize that, I mean, we, a lot of people say this, but stuff, I mean, it doesn't matter because as soon as you have it, you want more, but it's experiences and memories and those things that you laugh
Yeah.
about, cry about are really what makes you you. So
Yes. Yeah.
life's life's not getting any shorter. So you better start making that happen, girl. You
I
better put
know.
that
I
on your
know.
bucket list. What?
I
Yeah,
yeah, you're not wrong. I mean,
yeah.
like 40 came in the middle of a pandemic and I was like, fucking sweet, here's 40. And now I'm sitting here going, I'm going to be 41 and what have I done? So,
Well,
yeah.
I turned 50 last year, so
Yes.
there's that. Same thing. You got 10 years
Yeah.
on me, so oh gosh. Also,
Yeah.
on that note, Meddy, are you doing what you love? If you are,
Yes.
channel it. If not,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I am. I'm doing what I love, even with all the ups and downs that come with it. And I want to be really clear because it's something that I've come across even now more recently is when people assume that we do what we love, they assume that we have no bad days.
mm-hmm,
Like they assume that, everything is peachy, we're making all the money that we want, it's all blue skies and rainbows. And that's really not the case. Doing what you love is what really drives you. It does
mm-hmm,
it, and it's what makes you get up in the morning. It's what continues to light your fire even at your most desperate times or even at your most darkest times. Like when I'm feeling, the loneliness, or when I'm like feeling the most tired, I get these really really, really incredible and impactful reminders about what I do, why I do what I do. And they come from the outside world. They come from the people that I work with. They come from friends and family. And so that's my reminder, and what I'm really truly grateful for is why I'm doing what I love. And
mm-hmm.
I think if the day comes where I wake up one day and I don't have it, then I will freely walk away. I won't
Mm-hmm.
stay in it
Mm-hmm.
because I want it to continue to be impactful and I don't want to ever hinder that for anybody.
Yeah.
So,
That's it's really commendable that you can actually say that you enjoy, that you love what you do. A lot of people don't. I just
mhm.
they wake up Monday morning and they're like, man, okay, if I can just make it to whenever, I've got the weekend again, but that weekend goes really
Yeah.
fast.
Oh man, all the time I hear that.
It does, and it does, and I'm with you too. I completely agree. Doing what you love doesn't mean you're not going to have bad days. Even with with the person that you're going to love, you're still going to have bad days. But the core of it,
Mhm.
you know that you're heading in the right
Mhm.
direction. And I believe
Yeah.
they're not necessarily. I wouldn't associate like failure with a bad day, but
Mhm.
I've come to a point now where I actually realize that if I'm not failing or I'm not at a point where I'm scared or taking a risk, just like this
Yeah.
podcast, putting myself
Yeah.
out there,
Mhm.
doing this and actually committing to it and doing it,
Mhm.
there's a sense of fear, right? How
Mhm.
will it be received? Like, is it what I really wanted to? Did I make the most
Mhm.
of the conversations that I had with the people that I really respect, right? And so it's
Mhm.
all those things that you put together, and it's like, okay, but at the end of the day, I'm doing something that I committed to, that I love and that I want to do. And through it, it's okay. It's okay if some bomb and other ones turn out great. You know what I mean? You're
Yep.
still fulfilling your
Yeah.
purpose and those things that you want. So with that being said, was there a pivotal time in your life where you changed, where you were like, my life sucks, or maybe it was just stagnant or whatever, that was there a turning point where you are doing something that you love now, or has that you just have always done what you love?
No, there was definitely a turning point, and it's gonna sound kind of weird how this turning point happened, because I did a lot of odd jobs before I became a small business owner. Being a small business owner and being in the fitness industry was the furthest thing
Right.
from my scope. Like I was just like not even on my radar, and I was inspired by close friends to do this. I mean, I fell in love with the idea of CrossFit and how it challenged me, because I was bored with my fitness and whatnot. And so I've had all these little moments of inspiration from other people, and people may even call them like influences. And that's what got me to where I am. It was actually at a point when I was actively, at being a business owner, but I mean, I struggled in the first 4 years of my business. And that's, being a small business owner. And for those that are listening who have small businesses, and you yourself know this as well, like how much of a struggle it is and how much work goes into it. And I would say that probably around, excuse me, around year 3 of my business, going into year 4, I was facing the question of, should I continue? Is it really worth it? Everything that I have done, is it worth it? Are we even making an impact? Like, we're barely surviving. I'm still not paying myself, like all of these factors that come into play that a lot of, people don't realize were really weighing on me. And so it took me to, and I tell this story, and some people are like, holy shit, like you really did that. And I'm like, yeah, I did. But it took me one day crying in my bathroom in my gym and looking myself in the mirror and asking myself the questions, and looking at myself going, can you do this? Are you still in it? Do you still love it? And can you accept the mistakes that you've made and forgive yourself and move forward? And that was like a very pivotal moment for me. That was really eye opening. And for me to look at myself in the mirror and accept my failures, accept my mistakes, accept the relationships that didn't go well, but take responsibility for all of it. And also then reflect on the positive things and the good things that have happened, but owning that and then forgiving myself for it. That was the pivotal moment. And that's when it was kind of like the weight had lifted a little bit, had lifted from me. And I was like, we're going to do this. Like, I'm going to do this. And so I, and asked for help, which was the most scary thing in the world to do, because you never, as a small business owner, ever want to admit that you need help, at least to people, especially because if you don't know you can trust them or not, that's a big deal. And I did that. I went out on a limb and I asked for help, and I got that help. And now, year 4 into 5, we were profitable. Like, and that's really cool, and making hard decisions. But yeah, I mean, that was a super pivotal moment for me. And that's when I really started to do the work on myself. That was when I really started to not only ask for help in my business, but ask for help for myself personally. I got a life coach, which I will advocate till the day is long. Y'all, if anybody you need a life coach, you need a business coach, and you need a therapist. Like, everybody needs therapy. It is a beautiful thing. Yeah. It is a beautiful thing. Right. And so yeah, I got those tools. Yeah. I got those tools because I realized that the root of the issues were me. It wasn't anybody else. It wasn't things around me. It was me. And so I needed to do the work on me in order to progress and move forward. And if we were going to be, excuse me, if we were going to be successful, I had to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Which I think is really interesting. The pivotal moment for you was actually in the bathtub, having a conversation with yourself, which we all do. We all do. And honestly, you were the same person the day before you make the decision and the day after, right?
Mhm.
You still are. It's just that you
Yeah.
actually listened to those voices in your head and you made
Mhm.
some decisions. And so
Yeah.
just making that decision, and I think a lot of people, myself included, a lot of times, those voices are in our head. Like we have conversations with ourselves all the time. And that's not
All the
bad. It's
time.
not bad. Having
No.
those, it doesn't mean we're crazy. It means that they're there for a reason to help direct us. And a lot of
Mhm.
times we suppress them. And so then what
Mhm.
happens is we live our lives dull. We live our lives
Mhm.
not making a difference. We live our lives not shaking the dust. That dust is collecting on our shoulders, right? Before just shaking, like, okay, I've had enough of this. Am I going to do
Yeah.
this or am I not? You know?
Yeah.
And for me, the big thing which helps me make a decision is basically saying, what if? I'm like thinking to
Mhm.
myself, I put myself and I'm in like the end of my days and I'm like, well, I say, what if? Like, what if I just would have
Mhm.
gone a little further? What if I would have done something different? Like, what if I wouldn't have given up? You know? And so that's a real
Yeah.
big driver for me, which is commendable for you. And I know the people that I have on this podcast, I know that they do have made hard decisions in their life
Mhm.
because I don't believe anybody was like born with like a golden spoon or whatever. You know, they've flipped
Yeah.
and they've made decisions and it's not been easy. But because of that, they've not only made a difference in their life, but the people around them, which I think is a beautiful thing. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm doing this. I just want to give people
Yeah.
a platform and to inspire other people to be like, hey, don't have it all figured out, but I
Mhm.
know where I'm going and I can say that I love what I'm doing each day. And that's very rare. It just is. Whether you know that or not,
Oh.
I think in our own world, we think
Mhm.
that that's common, but it's not. It's very
Yeah,
rare.
no, it's really not. I mean, and it's funny that you bring that up about like, hey, don't have it all figured out because, I have so many members and they vary in age and everything. And I have a younger member she's just graduating or has graduated high school.
Mhm.
And her and I've had a conversation, excuse me. And she was talking to me about like her stresses being in high school. And man, I tell you what, like high school is so much different now and
Mhm.
than it was when I went to high school. I'm sure when you went to high school, but the expectation, unfortunately, is still there of like expecting kids to know what the hell they want to do
Mhm. Mhm.
and to have it all figured out at the young age of like 16 or
Mhm.
17. And I'm like, let's be honest here, people. How many of us really had our shit together
Oh
then?
yeah.
Yeah, not one of us. Like I have
Yes.
friends. I mean, I have friends that like failed out of college, because there was this high expectation. And for me, like personally, I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do. I didn't find my purpose till like my 30s.
Mhm.
And people look at me and are like, when I say that to them, like some of them are like really shocked
Mhm.
because they're in their professions, or
Yeah.
they just don't want to admit that, like,
Yes.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, like I
Yeah.
really don't have or I didn't have. And here, do your thing. By no means am I like discounting that, but
Yeah.
I will openly like admit that because I'm like, I'll let you learn from my experiences. Like, hell
Yeah.
no, I didn't have my shit together.
Yeah.
I still don't have my shit
Oh yeah.
together and I'm 40. I've
Yeah.
just gotten better
Yeah.
at owning it and I've gotten better at dealing with it
Yeah.
and leaning into it and not necessarily burying it, so to speak, and being ashamed. And that, I think, I wish we could advocate and speak more on that, because I think if we did, it would really change the mindsets of a lot of people. Like you said earlier, we come across people every day that hate what they do.
Mhm.
They don't enjoy what they do, and they're looking forward to literally 48 hours.
Mhm.
If we look at the big picture, 48 hours is such a small span of time.
Yeah.
If people genuinely started doing what they were passionate about, what they truly believed in, instead of punching a clock,
Mhm.
man, like
Mhm.
how cool would the
Mhm.
world
Yeah.
be?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's true.
So,
It's true. It's good
but
stuff,
yeah.
Meddy. We're gonna wrap this up, but I want to ask a quick question. Tell me something that you're passionate about. Doesn't have to be work or whatever, and it can be.
It can, something I'm passionate about. Well, right now I'm very, very passionate about really helping and uplifting others in the sense of of the good work that they're doing. And so with that, yes, I've started a podcast as well, which I didn't mention earlier, but Convos with Lola, where we've had guests on that have, spoken up about the things and the injustices, but also like their businesses and what they're doing to like make the world better.
Mhm.
And for me, I'm very, very passionate right now about like uplifting and amplifying those that are doing good, like that has been done for me. And so I recently made the decision to participate in a nonprofit, Grace Fitness. I sit on the board
Mhm.
where my good friend Zakia is working with the Black and Brown community to help raise awareness in fitness and health, because that's a
Mhm.
crucial, crucial thing. That's something that has not really been brought to their attention. And it's something that we need to do more of and help out with and really promote, because if we want to continue to be positive and to grow, we have to have everybody grow with us
Mhm.
and be stronger and healthier.
Mhm.
And for me, health and fitness shouldn't be a privilege. It is your human basic need and right. And so that is what's really I'm passionate about, along with education. I don't care where you get your education from, how high you go, but education is somewhat is important, whether it's going to college and building a profession or going to a trade school. I believe that there are so many jobs out there that are really undervalued, and we need to really take a look, a hard look, and do some work in that area. So I'm big on supporting my grandmother's scholarship fund for Latinx kids who, for a lot of them, this is it. This is their opportunity,
Mhm.
given to reach their dreams. So that's those are two really big passion projects that I feel deeply about. So
Love it,
yeah.
Meddy. Good stuff, girl. Good stuff, as always. I knew you would have just powerful things to say. And I just
Oh,
want to
thank
affirm
you.
you. I just want to, it's been an honor knowing you, and I'm looking forward to continuing our friendship for sure. And just having this
Yes.
conversation publicly has just been really good to let other people get to know you and what you're about.
Yeah.
Like I got to know you. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much for inviting me. I've enjoyed this, and again, I totally enjoy our friendship and love Luke to death. So I wish you guys all the best.
Yeah,
And so I'm
Meddy.
super pumped for your podcast.
Awesome. Thank, thank you, girl.